Okay guys, so this is not one of my usual types of videos, alright? Just wanted a little palate cleanse, a little break from my usual politics and law. So I am taking you on a journey to show you one of my favorite things I do in the entire world, that is hiking. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Dionne Jackson Miller. Time for tea. Alright, so the first thing to know about hiking, right, is that non-hikers see all the gorgeous pictures of the best part of the hike, when we reach the top of the mountain, the waterfall, views for days, everybody's all happy and posing, and you think, wow, that looks great. And it is, but that's just a little piece of the story. So sure, we love being outside. I mean, that's why we're there. The hiking, nature, camaraderie, when you have a really good group of people you're going with, you're walking with, all of that is fantastic. And of course, gorgeous views keep you coming back week after week after week. What you don't see is when we're huffing and puffing up the trail over the hills. Okay, so this hike started, our hike master put us on a hike that started with a very steep start. Right, Sonia?
Yes.
Very steep start. It's like 5 minutes into the hike, you're going, oh my God, what is this? And worst of all, look, I am hoping this never catch me again. Grass lice. So we're in the middle of a cow pasture. That is the only way I can describe it. Cow pasture and people grung, right? Because we left from Banana Grung, home of Olympians, famous Elaine Thompson and Nesta Carter. We go up the hill, them go on good, and then we turn right. I mentioned grass lice. I am sure we're full of grass lice. I will see that tomorrow. All right. So I'm a goal setter, right? And in 2019, I actually wrote down in my planning journal that I wanted to start hiking. I forgot all about that, but it looked as if the universe didn't, because in 2020, during the pandemic, I saw Sonia Stanley Nayo. That's a culture doctor, and she calls herself that because she's a professor at the University of the West Indies Mona campus with special expertise in cultural studies. Anyway, she started to post all these gorgeous photos, of all these wonderful locations in Jamaica, and I was like, man, do that. So when she said, you want to come, I was like, yes. And this was actually a WhatsApp conversation, but that's still how I felt.
But I do this out of the love of my heart. It is very easy for me to organize hikes.
So I started going out with her and her friends. So my first hike with Sonia and her group was actually a beach hike at Bob Marley Beach. And I tell you, you think about hiking and you're generally thinking about the hills and so on. But every now and then we go beach, because beach hikes are not easy. Walking on sand is hard. And of course, that's a point. It's conditioning. But trust me, sunrise on the beach, while you're out there in this wonderful fresh air and you're hearing the waves and everything, trust me, I was immediately hooked. And I've been hooked ever since. So as the group grew, and became more committed, Sonia called us the Reggae Hikers. Now, I'm not suggesting that you just get up off your couch and go hiking just so, all right? For instance, our group is usually out for, say, 3 to 4 hours. A lot of that is uphill. So you do need to try to get some basic level of fitness first. And of course, make sure your doctor says it's okay before you take on any kind of strenuous activity, before you try to go hiking with any group. And before I go on to tell you about all the wonderful hikes out there, let me tell you about the one hike that I failed. Failed as in abandon the hike, flag down car, jump in a car and stop walk. It's the one hike I've abandoned in the 4 years I've been hiking. I don't talk, me not even shame, alright? So this one was from Port Royal out to the lighthouse near airport. So it's a beautiful early morning walk, all right? We start on the beach, sun is coming up, then we cut through back onto the road, and then we go all the way up to the lighthouse. And at first, everything was fine, nice pictures with the lighthouse and everything looking good. But of course, you have to walk back. And let me tell you something, I 100% do not recommend that you try to walk from the lighthouse to Port Royal when the sun is up. The road long, plus we're already tired from the walk out to the lighthouse, and it just feels like it not done, you know. And then we're soldiering on, one foot in front of the other, and then we check Google Maps, and Google Maps say we have another hour left to walk in the sun. And you know that Port Royal Road, there's no shade, and it's not even interesting in terms of, you know, what you're seeing or anything like that. So when we saw a car coming by, a fellow hiker who had also ditched the hike, and she shouted out, "You guys want a drive?" We're like, yes. So yes, we abandoned the hike, hitched a ride back to our car, went left, and as a matter of fact, on the way we're picking up other people who also were ditching the hike. No, that one was rough. Out of 20 people who started that hike, 15 people abandoned the hike. Unprecedented, the only time that has happened before or since. So having said that, most of the hikes are hard, at least to some extent. I mean, that's the point. You want to push yourself. You know, it's not a Sunday afternoon walk in Hope Gardens or, you know, Emancipation Park. It is rough going, but that's part of the fun. As I said, pushing yourself, challenging yourself out there in nature, and it's really gorgeous out there. So here is one of the longest ones we do, right? This one now starts at Gordontown. We go through the bush, up to Red Light, then up to Greenwich and back again. This one is about 5 hours, and trust me, when you're done, your legs feel like noodles. You know, no use for yourself. You know, say you sleep for the rest of the day. And I have to tell you, the first time I did that one, I was wondering if I was going to make it out of the bush. Because the first time you're doing it, you don't know the route. You're just in the bush, you walk, you go up, and you feel like you're not done. And I was sending messages in the group saying, send help, send JDF helicopter. Joking. Kind of joking, but joking. But the payoff is really gorgeous. You know, there's a community and beautiful, beautiful views, and it's just really wonderful when you reach there. Sometimes we stop at Greenwich, sometimes we walk another 20 minutes on the road to Holywell. That's an easy walk because that's flat. But yeah, the hardest hikes are the ones that when you finish them, you're like, yes, I did that. And, you know, people walk at different paces. So you have some people who fly off gone, you know. They just walk fast, they're really fit. You have other people who are slow, and I'm usually in the medium to slow category, and I'm fine. I now watch nobody, I now compare myself to nobody. You're just out there and you're just enjoying the experience. You know, one foot in front of the other, just take your time, you got done. Here's another of my favorite ones. This is Newcastle up to Catherine Peak. No, it's steep, but it's short, and a great payoff at the end, meaning wonderful view. So remember, you hike early morning because you don't want to be out there in the hot sun, right? So to get to Newcastle, for instance, we'd leave Kingston at 5, which means I'm getting up at 4. So what that means is that if you love Friday night partying, then you might not be able to do early Saturday morning hiking, because to be hiking on just a few hours sleep, and especially if you've been drinking, isn't necessarily a great thing. And for some people, that's a deal breaker. You know, then come, you see them a couple of weeks, you're like, this is fantastic, now call no name, and then, and then you know, see them again. So it go. You know, you make choices, you decide what it is you really like to do, and then you go after that. So as I say, you start off all excited, because the beginning of a hike is always exciting. You know, it's like, yeah man, we're here, we're doing this, we're doing this kind of thing. Now this one, for instance, as I said, starts at Newcastle. And when you're in the parking lot, the parade ground at Newcastle, you can actually look up the hill and you see Catherine Peak. And it looks far. And you're like, I can't, this may go, whoa, you do. And it doesn't look like you'll ever make it, but of course you do. And that one actually isn't that long. Maybe a little bit over an hour or so. Parts of it very steep, but really, really gorgeous view at the end. And you can reach up the peak and not go to the trig station and get some really fun photos there as well. Coming down is easier, but at the same time, that can be hard on the knees, you know. So I wear knee straps, and where the terrain is safe to do this, you have to take time. I might walk back ways sometimes because that takes some of the pressure off your knees. It feels a whole lot easier, but like I say, you have to be really careful that, you know, fall down or tumble down or something like that. You don't want that. And then when you reach down, of course, you reward yourself with some fantastic photos on the JDF parade ground. All right, so here's another one that's really, really nice. This is School of Vision. It's a Rastafarian camp in the hills of St. Andrew. Again, steep hike up, whole heap of steps. My mama, you climb, but the view from the top, absolutely amazing. And they have this little tree house that, you know, if you want to climb up, you can climb up and hang out in for a while, and the view from that is just fantastic. And there is a small fee to enter the compound, but it's well worth it. The residents there are so wonderful, you know, they're warm, they're welcoming, and it's really a privilege, I think, to be allowed to visit a community like that. Here's another one for you. This one was gorgeous. This is Bullhead Mountain in Clarendon, and it actually has a geographical center of the island there. Gorgeous, gorgeous hike. Different type of terrain than we used to, you know, lots of pine trees, lots of very forested area. Rain caught us on this one, and let me say something about rain, because I'm not telling a lie. Rain is falling when I wake up. I left me yard. I'm not venturing out into the rain, although the hike does not stop for the rain, but sometimes you're on a hike and the rain does come down. You know, I do have a poncho now that I carry most of the time, but on that particular occasion didn't have anything. And when that happens, you just have to go with the flow, because you just have to enjoy the journey. You can't then yam up yourself and get it miserable. You just have to enjoy every moment of the journey. And of course, that's a metaphor for life as well, right? Enjoy the journey. Gonna have to leave it there, all right? And thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed this short journey on some of my weekend hikes. Do like the video, share it with somebody you think might be interested, subscribe to the channel, and click that notification bell so you know anytime another video drops. I'm Dionne. Thanks again for watching. I'll drink the rest of my tea.